Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here today on Narcissism 101, Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Okay, so before I get into what we're going to talk about today, as usual, if you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03 at hotmail.com, or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057. If you want a one-on-one session, yes. If you want a call, then you can send a text to that number and just let me know that it's you and you want to talk about your narcissistic experience or you need help, and then I'll be more than happy to get you the help that you need. All right, so what we are going to be talking about today, guys, is begin with the end in mind. Yes, and I'm referring to the narcissistic relationship. So you've been through the narcissistic relationship, and I know it was challenging. It wasn't easy, and I know that even to this point, and now that you're out of it, you're still trying to wrap your head around what exactly happened. Well, I'll tell you this: what exactly happened was that the narcissist, they knew exactly what they were doing the whole entire time. And again, I want to make this clear. The reason why they targeted you was because they saw that you have something that they don't have. Maybe it was a lot of money. Maybe it was a big house. Maybe it was a fantastic job. Whether you had businesses, whether you were just a great person altogether. You dress well. There was something about you that the narcissist was drawn to. I'm not sure what that thing is because we're all different, but the narcissist was watching you and they saw this and they knew this about you. And so what happened was that when they saw this, what they wanted to do was inside their mind, they wanted to plan how they were going to get close to you to eventually get that from you. And so when they got close to you and they got to know you a little better, that's when they started to eventually love bomb you. And love bombing, and I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, guys. And to those who are new to the channel, if you're watching for the very first time, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And so what happens with love bombing is a part of the narcissistic abusive cycle when everything seems amazing, when the narcissist is painting the narrative that you guys are going to spend the rest of your lives together, that they love you so much, even though they've only known you for 2 weeks or a month or so. And everything just seems amazing. You're asking the question, where's this person been all my life? How is this person single? Like, what? How did I not meet this person before? Those are some of the questions you're asking. And so the narcissist knows this. They know that, and they know that they've done this more than once. It's not just you that they've done this to, and it doesn't just have to be romantic. They do this with their siblings, with their parents, with their friends, with their people at work if they do have a job. Like they do. This is their, and I mentioned this a lot when I'm speaking with content creators and things like this. It's like a full-time job for them. They do this 24/7. At least one person right now is getting love bombed into these relationships. At least one person is also getting married into one of these relationships and they don't even know it. So the love bomb is meant for the narcissist to, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, when it's like fishing, the narcissist is fishing, they put their fishing hook into the water and they're swimming it around, and then they're seeing who's going to take a bite, who can they hook, who can they get on the hook. That's what the love bomb is. And then once they get you on the hook, once they love bomb you a lot, they know that they've done most of the work that they need to do. Because once the love bomb stage ends, which is usually a month or usually maybe a month or a year, maybe a year. After that happens, then comes the devaluation stage. Now, the love bomb stage, like I said, everybody's different, and every narcissist, all narcissists are all the same. They all play by the same playbook. It's just the same demon that's possessing different people, different human bodies. So they all act a little bit different. So when it comes down to it, guys, when it comes to the devaluation stage, what happens is that once you're in that stage, that's when everything it goes from good to worse, to a nightmare essentially. And it's a nightmare that a lot of people don't make it out of unfortunately. And so when this happens, guys, when it happens that the narcissist has you here, this is very challenging and this is a very scary place to be. It's almost like being in a dungeon. You know what I mean? You don't know where you are. You don't know how you got there. You're confused. It's like you're in a spell. It's like you're in a nightmare of a dream. You don't know how you got there. But the narcissist, they've done this to many, many, many people. Not just you, many people all around the world and in many different languages, and they do this to everybody that they come in contact with. So when the devaluation stage comes, that's when after that devaluation stage and that's the longest part of the relationship. That usually, and it depends on the narcissist, and it depends on what the narcissist is after. If they're after all your money, once all your money dries up, then the narcissist is gone. Whether if it's for sex, if they're in it for sex, what happens is once they get enough out of you and they see that they can't get any more sex out of you the same way that they used to, that's usually when they start developing an exit plan where they look to get all their supplies in order, all the supply that they're going to get to replace you with, and then once that happens, that's when they usually discard people. Those are just major things because mostly that's what most narcissists target people for: money and for sex. And once those things dry up, the narcissist has gone on to the next supply. So when it comes down to it, guys, that's when they usually discard people, and meaning that if you're married to them, they just divorce you out of nowhere, and it usually comes out of left field. You never see it coming. You didn't think that somebody could just be thrown away just like that, the snap of a finger, and now you're confused because you gave your all to this person, but what you came to find out that this person has done this to many people, for one. And the second thing is that you're knowing now that this person, they are not who they appear to be. They were a wolf in sheep's clothing. They were a demon in human form, the devil, because the devil makes everything seem so good. Like, think of in the beginning of the Bible, when Adam and Eve sinned, when the fruit was on the tree, and God told them not to eat the fruit on the tree. And then what happened? Eve was tempted by Satan, and Satan, he said, "You will actually be better than God." So Eve was manipulated to believe that she was going to be better than God. And what did she do? She took a bite of that tree. And then since then, that's where the fall of humanity started. That's where sin started. That's where narcissism started in the Garden of Eden. So guys, that's what we're trying to say here with regards to how the narcissist, this is what the narcissist does. This is their game plan. This is how they go around destroying other people's lives, but they do so in a very insidious way. They don't do it. They don't do it. They wanted, the thing about the narcissist is that they want to always have one up on somebody, on anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be their parent, their best friend. They always want to have a one up on people. They always want to appear better than other people. They always want what they don't. They always want to have things, and once they get those things, they don't want it anymore. They're never satisfied. And so, when it comes down to beginning with the end in mind, guys, when it comes down, and this is more for the ending of the relationship. And so once the relationship ends, once you're discarded, now you're on a whole different type of journey. You know what I mean? It's a whole different type of journey that you're going to have to go through, because the narcissistic relationship, when you're dealing with the narcissist, you're not just dealing with the normal everyday toxic person who might have problems and challenges and may know what, or may sometimes even apologize for what they did. I said maybe apologize. Most of the time they don't. But you're not dealing with one of those people. You're dealing with a person who has a very serious disorder. And it's a disorder that cannot be cured. There's no cure for a narcissist. I don't care if you bring them to a person who casts spells and demons out of people. That's not going to do anything. And there are many people all around the planet that think that stuff works. It doesn't, unfortunately. All it does is that it does it for a time, and then once the narcissist, it's almost like an addiction. When somebody has an addiction to alcohol, right? Many times what happens is that they get the help and whatnot, and once they get the help, what happens is that it only works for a time, and then after a while they spiral. All it takes is one hit of the alcohol, and then they spiral back down to what they were before. It's the same with the narcissist. That demon that's supposedly cast out of them, It's only for a time. And then after time goes by, all they need to get is just a whiff. And then after that, then they're back into their narcissistic ways. It's all a show, it's all a sham. So when it comes down to it, you are on a whole nother journey. So when you're on this journey, you need to begin it with the end in mind. How did I come up with this saying here for this video? Well, when I was in high school, I think I was in grade 11 or something like that. I was in high school, and there was this book that we read called Seven Traits of Highly Effective Teens, and one of the things in that book that stuck with me throughout my life since high school is begin with the end in mind. And so when you're on this journey called life, when you're on this journey trying to get through the narcissistic, when you're trying to get free of the narcissistic abusive cycle, when you're trying to break free of the narcissist, when you're trying to let go, because a lot of times what happens is when you're on this journey, when you're trying to let go, it's very challenging, especially when you gave your life to this person, you gave your life for this person, you did everything for them, you put them through school, perhaps, you raised their kids, perhaps, if you had kids or if they had kids or something, you did everything for them. You know what I mean? You went out, you put your life on hold you put your life on hold for them. And so that's a lot of giving for somebody who was just going to take and take and take from you until there was nothing left to take, right? So when it comes down to it, you need to begin this journey and with the end in mind, knowing that this journey will be over. And once it's all over, you are going to thank yourself and be happy that you did not give up, right? The other thing I want to mention is that you are not the first person to deal with narcissistic abuse. And like I mentioned in one of my other videos, go watch it, is narcissism has been around from the beginning of time. From the beginning of time, meaning before many of us were born. It's been around from the beginning. But the thing about it, guys, and I mentioned this in my video, is that narcissism, it was put under the rug. It's been hidden under a rug because it's a spiritual warfare, it's a spiritual battle between good and evil, between God and Satan, right? And so, it's been hidden under the rug so that until the last days, until the times of the last days, which we're living in right now, right? The book of Revelation, I mentioned this in one of my other videos, guys, is that we are in the last days right now, right? And so because we're in the last days, narcissism represents just that. You know what I mean? Where people are going to be lovers of their own selves. Narcissists are lovers of their own selves, and most of them don't even love themselves, right? That's why they go around destroying other people, because they don't even love themselves, right? They can't love. They don't have the love of God inside of them, right? And so when we're talking about narcissism, in this fact, what we're saying here is that you need to begin this journey of your healing journey with the end in mind if you need to heal, right? Some of us don't need to heal. Like, for example, like I got out unscathed, maybe some financial, she stole a lot of money from me, but you know what I mean? Even so, I got out unscathed. I'm still healthy. I'm still doing good. I'm doing my thing. I'm happy. I'm living my best life. But many other people, not everybody, we don't all think the same. Many people had to heal. Right? And so when you're on this healing journey, you need to go through it with the end in mind, that you will make it out, that you are going to make it, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? I know it's hard, especially if you just figured out today, maybe that your wife or husband or whomever in your life is a narcissist. If you just figured out today, I know it's going to be difficult. You're going to be sad for a while. You know what I mean? It's going to sting very hard. You're going to be in a state of hurting for a while. I understand that. I do. I completely sympathize with y'all. I get that. But what I want you to do is I want you to focus on the fact that, the end will come. You know what I mean? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. That divorce you're trying to get, it's going to come. You know what I mean? That custody of the kids that you want to get, it is going to come. The better health that you want to get, that you want to recover from all these years of abuse, it is going to come. I promise you, it is going to come. The Psalm of David said, there's a time and a place for everything under the sun, right? And so there's a time for things to get better in your life, but we're all on different paths in life. And so you need to establish and know where you are and what you're dealing with, okay? So when it comes down to it, things will get better in time. And the end's gonna come. You know what I mean? Your end, meaning things are gonna get better when it's time. We don't know when that time is. You don't know when that time is. All you can do is do your part and let God handle all the rest. You know what I mean? That's what you were put on this earth to do. To do your part, let God do everything else. Because we have to remember too that this earth belongs to God. You know what I mean? Whether you want to believe it or not, this earth belongs to God. If God created the world in 7 days, then He is more than capable to help you in whatever situation or circumstance that is you're going through. I say all this stuff, when I'm talking about the Bible, because, like I said again, it's a spiritual warfare that we're dealing with. Narcissism, it's a spiritual warfare between good and evil. So, if you're here for the first time, and thank you again for being here, and you're going to share this video with somebody who's perhaps going through it, or about to get in trouble get involved with a narcissist, then, you let them know that, life is too short. You need to make the best of it while you're still here. You know what I mean? Because, we're, like Drake said, we're here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean? You need to make sure that you cherish the good times, because, life isn't promised. You could be here today and then gone tomorrow, right? So when it comes down to it, guys, just keep that in mind, begin it with the end in mind. You know what I mean? Maybe you just got involved with a narcissist, right? And you're seeing this video for the first time and you're scared out of your shoes, begin it with the end in mind. Know that it's going to get better for you, not the narcissist. For you, it's going to get better. But you need to apply the steps, as you go back and watch some of my videos of the narcissist playbook, as you watch some of that and you get your knowledge and things like that, then you will know and understand, how to move forward. I also suggest to people, make sure that you buckle down and you do the thing you need to do to, discover your purpose. When it comes down to reading the Bible, I encourage people with my other videos, read the Bible. You know what I mean? If you've never read the Bible before, I promise you, give it a try. Open it up. It doesn't matter where you start. Just open it up. And then just read something. Just start reading something, and I promise you, something's gonna feel different in the air, and you're not gonna understand it because it's your first time reading it. But I'm just saying that something's gonna feel a little bit different for you, and you're gonna want to keep on reading it. But you've got to stay the course. You know what I mean? You got to begin it with the end in mind, knowing that that's where you start. But then in the end, know that you are going to end up where you are supposed to end up. And so, yeah, guys, that's the crux of what I wanted to talk about today. If begin with the end in mind, and like I say in all of my videos, if you want a one-on-one session, if you want to talk more about this, if you want to drop a comment below, you can. Subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody. If you want a one-on-one session, you can email me at paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or you can send a text message at 647-406-3057. If you want to call, just send a text to that number. Just let me know that you want to talk about your narcissistic situation or that you need help, and I'd be more than happy to give you some advice, give you some help, and then we can get you moving forward in the right direction. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code today with me, Paul Wisdom, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much.